Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Terror, Season 1, Episode 3. So, full spoilers for the episode. It's called The Ladder. I did that in a weirder order than I usually do. I don't know why. But it's called The Ladder. Especially when you watch it, it's clearly a reference to a certain ladder belonging to one Jacob. But that is the name of the episode. And this one, we kind of follow straight on from last, but there was no time jump this time. I think it says a few days, but
yeah, it threw me off because it come up saying June, and I was like, oh, I thought the last one was spring, but then they talk about it like it was less than a week.
End of May counts as spring.
It does, just misleading.
Yeah, but so they're stuck there in the ice. We see, and this is kind of the culmination of the tension between Francis and Sir John, and. Now, we kind of called something in this episode, because as soon as they were talking about in like episode 1 about how, oh no, he's my second, and if anything happens to me, he'll be, you'll be his second, to Fitzjames. Sir John was giving that speech. And as soon as we talked about that conversation, it was like, well, we're kind of expecting that to happen at some point in the season then. That we'll be in this position where Francis is the one in charge because Sir John's either died or whatever. And sure enough, this happens quite early on. This is early enough that I would call this the Drew Barrymore from Scream effect.
Yeah, just about.
Because he's presented as like the co-lead, the captain of the captains, and
he's the other big actor as well.
Yeah, so this was definitely not shocking in terms of plot necessarily, but shocking in terms of he's the name. I mean, there's two posters. There's two main posters. One's his face, and then the other one's Jared Harris's face.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I say they're the two bigger actors on the show that people might recognize, and. I think it is a shock factor. Not that it happened, but that it is this early is the surprise, I suppose.
Yeah. I think I was expecting maybe around like 7 or something like that. But
yeah, like maybe end of 6.
But here we are. So, and I have to admit, I did enjoy how brutal, because the guy dies right before him, because they think there's a bear out there now. They've got like a little outpost, and they've hung up some rats to lure in a bear, and they've got a little outpost, and he's all again, he's all proud, and he comes around, he's like, ah man, yes, at ease man, at ease, and we'll make the Empire proud, make your God proud, and they take a photo, and they get Sir Goodsir to take a photo with the really annoying, how much photographing technology's come in the last couple hundred years.
I know.
He's like sitting there like, right, stay perfectly still. This has to be exposed for like a minute.
Yeah,
Stay right there. And the upside, a lot of nice reflection of light off the snow, so didn't have to worry too much about the light.
Well, no, but they're in a relatively darkened space under that cover, so I imagine that's why it needs such a long exposure.
I don't think they were in the cover.
It looked because they were under the cover to me.
I thought they all lined up outside the cover. Regardless, the point is, cameras, things are better.
Yeah. Now you just point and click, job done.
You have the option of a flash.
Yeah, if you really want.
On or off, up to you. But no. So he's kind of, his hubris is coming through. He's kind of like putting on the happy captain for his men to make them feel like confident that he's not scared. He's confident they can get through this. So therefore they'll all be confident. So in that sense, he's a good leader. I think he does have hubris, but I do think the episode kind of said to me that he's actually got good other captain qualities, even if he is a little bit.
Yeah, there's a point where there's a talk of a mission to go off, and he's against it, not because he thinks it's the wrong thing to do, but because of morale.
Yeah. This is Francis who suggests this. He wants to do this.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that scene, I think, more in depth, because there's a big confrontation that happens out of that.
Of course.
But yeah, so it's almost like after they take the photo, they come back in the little tent, and one of the guys like, hey, Captain, Sir John, why don't you hang around and maybe you could get the shot off yourself, or you at least see him go down. He's like, Yes, I think I'll sit for a bit. Yes, and he sits down, and Goodsir's like, I want to go back to the ship. Can I have a can I have like an escort? He's like, no, you can just stay here, Goodsir. You're fine.
Yeah, because he offers him. He's like, do you want to go back? He's like, yes, I do. Would you like an escort? Yes, and everyone kind of like laughs a little bit at him, and he's like, well, you can stay here then.
Yeah, but just a little sort of some point when he's coming round to this tent, Sir John, he has to like squeeze between like a little crevice, so just it's the ice. And he's squeezing through, and it just symbolically, like everything's closing in around him. Very simple little bit of symbolism, but it was there. But no, so a guy who's sitting behind Sir John just gets grabbed through the tent and pulled up. The entire tent goes up.
Yeah.
And this guy just lands with his head's just been basically ripped off in the mouth. Like
pretty much.
This thing's just ripped the top of the head off.
Yeah, it's highlight of the season. So far.
So far, yeah. Super bloody. Sir John's running, and obviously, like, he's yelling. There's gunshots going off, and this is when people back at the ship, so Fitz James and everyone else are like, "Oh wait, there's something going on. Grab your guns, men!" And they're all going on. And it's this thing where you can sort of see it's coming at this point because like Sir John's like crawling to like towards. He's over like, the little like mount of ice, and he's like crawling towards him. And at this point, Fitz James can see him, and then he gets pulled back.
Yeah, and I love the moment of just when he's looking at him with the telescope, and he pulls it off, and it's that cold, it's frozen to his eye already.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, that was Francis who did that. Yeah, with the telescope. You just see his eyelid kind of like come out with it, and he's like and
and then you just see the cut on the top there. I was like, oh, that's a great little touch.
Yeah, just it's almost like something you don't see as often enough, but it tells you how cold it is. You're like, because it's obviously we see. There's the various effects of being cold. They're always having to bundle up, even when they're on the ship and it looks like it's getting cold. Like they're always just kind of miserable. And then he's getting basically dragged through the air, but we kind of keep the camera on him, so we just all sort of have it on his like sort of upper body as he's like flying through. So whatever this is, it's grabbing him and dragging him around. We get like sort of quick little snippets of like a flashback we had earlier on where he was talking to this admiral about. He's like, "No, this is crazy. Like, there's nothing up there. What's your rescue plan?" And he's like, "We don't need a rescue plan." It's like, again, it's showing he's
they were talking about how much they've got provisions for. It was like 3 years easy, 5 if they ration.
And so he's having like glimpses of this. He even has glimpses of his niece. He has glimpses of Francis. He has glimpses of everything. His life's basically flashing before his eyes, and then he lands, and you're like, okay, so it's just put him down, and then he looks down, and you see that he's missing legs. Like he's a bloody stump, and he's actually crawling towards the hole. They put the Inuit man who died last episode, like they disposed of his body very unceremoniously. Like good Sir was trying to like maybe we should do something, like give him a proper, at least dig him a different hole. Not the same one we're using for everything else. And like, nah, that's fine. They just like shove him down.
This'll do.
Yeah. Well, Sir John ends up there, and he's like sort of like trying to like cling on, and the beast push him in, and the men all come and try and get to him, but it's to no avail.
Too late.
I don't know if I'm proud of this. I laughed a lot when I saw his leg wrapped up in this ceremonial kind of
Coffin.
little. Yeah. I had these little initials on it and everything, and it was the only thing in the casket. It was just his leg wrapped up.
Yeah, it cracked me up.
It didn't make me laugh. Maybe it's my dark sense of humour, but I did get a kick out of that. So I think they did a good job, at least, of making him feel like a character before he died. Like I feel like between the 3 episodes we had of him, I think by the time he died, he wasn't just the captain. He was a bit more than that. I understood his character, I understood his weaknesses, his faults.
Well, I think, like we said, the first episode was devoted entirely to setting up him and the other captain. Like it was just the two of them. That's all that first episode was. And the second episode still had development as well.
Absolutely. I think actually what this episode's done for me in terms of the captains is it's made me kind of realise that even though I was mostly on Francis's side during the debates in the first couple of episodes, and even in this one to an extent, even though the scene that plays out where they confront each other, like Sir John puts him in his place, he makes it very clear that you're a good sailor, but you're a bad captain for these reasons. Everything's very practical. Nothing's about actually taking into consideration.
It's not leadership.
Yeah, it's not leadership. Yeah, and he really puts him in his place. And there's that point because obviously Francis he's got his hat under his arm, but the way he's sort of holding it, his arm's kind of behind him. And then when it gets to this wider shot behind him, his over the shoulder, you see his like hands clenched in a fist behind his arm. And I'm like, is he going to punch him? Like, it looks like he's getting that fist ready. It really felt like it at points. If nothing else, he is angry during this conversation. But I think what that conversation in this episode's made me kind of think we're going to be exploring with this is the idea that it was going to take both of them to succeed. That both of them are the two halves of what the captain needs to be, essentially. He's the leadership and the morale and the speeches and all that stuff. And then Francis, no, I'm the sailor with the practical knowledge and the advice and the know-how.
You need a balance, is the point. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, okay, that's going to be interesting. Because there's even hints in this one that he's got a drinking problem. Because
there is, yeah.
Because what's his face?
Hickey.
Hickey, that's the name. It's a stupid name. the ginger with the stupid
slug
name.
Irish bastard.
But he was bragging, but yeah, maybe I'm a bit higher up in this ladder than you think. Again, bringing the whole ladder theme into the episode, like because the captain offered me a drink. He's like, yeah, he'll offer a drink to anyone, just because it's an excuse for him to have one at the same time.
Anytime he can have one, he'll take it.
Yeah, so I think that's something we're probably going to delve into as well, especially if he's going to be under a lot of stress now as the the leader.
The sole leader, yeah.
Which is because obviously one of the first things he does is like, all right, that 8-man mission to go and try and seek rescue, we're doing that. Because we should probably mention what his plan is. His plan is to send out 8 men south because they know that eventually they're going to get to this outpost and they can send for help. And if they send them now, it means that if they're still stuck here, if they don't thaw out during summer, and they're still stuck here, then they can the men who go out can be there by spring and send help back. Otherwise, we're going to have to all start walking in spring. And so he's been very practical, and obviously Sir John's like, but this is just you met in defeat. We need to be saved already, like this and that. Again, it's hard to kind of fault Francis and his thinking because it is purely logical. Like, no, but if we send someone now, this is rescue, and we'll be fine.
It makes sense. This is the backup plan. This is the what's your rescue plan that that he doesn't have.
It's funny to me how this. I was actually thinking of Titanic during this. You know how like Titanic didn't have enough lifeboats, and that was like a hubris thing. They won't need them. They'll be fine. Won't sink. It was reminding me a lot of that, and this idea that up until a point, like everyone who like tried these things, like I wonder how many people who did achieve great things, like it could have almost went the other way, and there'd have been another story of they just died trying because.
I would assume most of them, honestly.
Probably up until a certain point. I feel like these days with just more technology, things aren't as risky as they once were in that sense.
Sure.
And in a pure physical survival sense.
Yeah, I get you.
But hey, so interesting things to bring in. So again, the episode felt focused because it was mostly about that and like the captain's end and the effect that might have because Fitzjames' reaction to all this and begging don't do this, give everyone a day to mourn, and he actually agrees because he says okay a day but then they go. And he sort of nods to sort of say, "Okay, fine, right, we'll give everyone a day."
That's good enough.
Yeah, and so I think it'll be fascinating to see how Francis is leading and how now Fitzjames is now presumably the captain of the Erebus.
Yeah, I assume so.
Unless they swap ships because the Erebus is the main one, but I doubt it.
Yeah, he might do that. He might take over that.
But. Yeah, so I think that'll be interesting to see. We mentioned Hickey. Hickey had some stuff here as well. Hickey, Irving, the guy who caught him with the other dude, like he comes in and he's like, he told me everything that you were forcing him into these acts because you were going to, out him to the crew if he didn't, and you were very threatening. And Hickey kind of takes this not very pleasantly, but then he goes and sees the guy and he's like, hey, you told him all this stuff. Like this is not how it happened. Because I think he says you were my wife for the last 4 months or something like that. He says something to that effect, and he's like, "No, I said what would get us out of this." Because he's a very religious man. He wants to see that we can redeem ourselves and that we can use this to our advantage and move on. I said what needed to be heard, and this is done. And Hickey, showing what type of person he is, he not only does not appreciate this, he uses the funeral of the captain when everyone else is outside and Francis is reading the speech that Sir John wrote for another funeral because the men who died last episode, he'd written a speech for that and then he died before he got to say it. So Francis uses that and it's like, okay, here's the final words of the captain and it says anything better than I could. While this is going on, Hickey sneaks into his ex-lover's cabin and shits on his bed.
Delightful.
So I think we're setting him up as the, forget no pun intended, the shitty little wild card who's only out for himself and is probably going to cause problems for everyone else. Yeah,
he's the one who you were going to go, he should probably just get killed, but he's going to survive right till the end.
Yeah, he's going to be there till episode 9 or 10.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet money on it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'll be honest, the first half of this episode, his stuff was feeling kind of dry to me.
Oh yeah, the early stuff with him? No, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, there's maybe 10-15 minutes at the start of this episode where it feels a bit dry, and then it kind of gets into it. I'm like, okay, this is what the episode is.
Yeah,
I think just a little bit of easing in.
What I think's funny is maybe when we get to the end of the season, we'll look at maybe if there's 2 or 3 episodes like that. It's like, okay, maybe that's because that we should have cut an episode of order. And
we've said this a lot in the past of others, is where we'll be enjoying them as they go, but you often don't notice the faults till you get to the end and see the full story and realize where the extraneous stuff was.
Yeah. So I want to see where they go with Hickey, because it could actually end up being a big deal and something.
It could, absolutely.
I agree. That was probably the least interesting stuff of the episode. The woman who is referred to as the Silent Woman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Silent Lady.
Silent Lady.
Lady Silence.
Lady
sorry.
Silence. There you go. I knew it sounded cooler than what I was saying, but it was
Yeah.
basically that. Lady Silence, that's what they're calling her. She is basically told to go. I mean, the guy's kind of nice. He puts a little bit of food in with her belongings for her, and she goes off. And she actually goes off, and she draws a circle, and I'm like, oh, is she going to make an igloo? And we actually come back at the end of the episode, and she's got an igloo, and I'm like, damn it! I actually almost kind of wish I wanted to see how long it takes one person to build a goddamn igloo by themselves. It feels difficult. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Yeah, it does, but I guess practice.
Yeah. I've often questioned the structural integrity of the top of an igloo. I should probably just look up how actual igloos are.
I mean, it's no
made.
different to a bridge, right? Like a curved bridge.
Oh sure, I'm just trying. I've never seen like a documentary about making an igloo. I'm just trying to imagine how you actually, place it. I don't know.
I get that. I mean, I guess the blocks kind of freeze together as you go anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, I mean, I don't question the finished thing. I'm just imagining one person trying to one by one put the blocks on, and I'm having a hard time. But obviously, it's a thing. It happens. I'm just saying that. It's impressive, is what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, you go up in the circle, right? So you do the whole like layer by layer and go up.
Oh sure, yeah. You obviously start at the bottom, yeah.
So you just hold. When you start to slant it, I imagine you just hold it there till it starts to freeze. Then I can move on to the next block.
Okay.
I don't know. That's what I'd do, but maybe I'm completely wrong because I've never tried to build an igloo.
Yeah, it's quite cozy. It's funny though because she has a little fire in there, and I'm like, that seems. I mean, I guess it's cold enough that it doesn't matter, but that seems counterproductive.
You'd think,
to
but
the igloo.
I know for a fact that you can do that in igloos.
I've seen it before. I've seen it like anytime I've ever seen like a depiction of an igloo in something. There's usually a fireplace in it, and I'm like,
it makes no sense, but hey.
It's just that cold. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But hey, and we get this weird thing at the end where it almost feels like the monster like brings her food. Because we hear like the footsteps outside, and we hear the breathing. And then like it goes away and she goes out and she's obviously it's a very tense scene. She's scared and she goes out and then there's just this dead was it a seal?
It's a seal, yeah.
Yeah, seal that was just sort of sitting there like, yeah, hey, ready for some food? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So, are they tying this in with her culture? Is it like protecting her rather than?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's notable that she's obviously taken some sort of vow of silence after her father cut his tongue out, right? So the silence again there, which is coming back. We know he had a lot of somewhat like protective charms, totems in his body, right? Yeah.
Also, there's an interesting discussion with the crew members, I thought. Well, they question that this beast seems to be targeting higher ranking soldiers first, or higher ranking sailors first.
Yeah.
Because the captain, the guy who died last time, was like a lieutenant or a general or whatever. And it's like, interesting. That's like strategy, almost.
It is, isn't it?
Is that why it attacked when it did? But the captain was there. It's like, oh, captain, it's time for me to strike.
Could well be. Although that begs the question, why didn't it go for the captain first? Completely unawares. It did take off the head like it did the other guy.
That's a good question. I don't know. Scare tactics, maybe?
It could be. I mean...
but to be fair, in the scene, like someone else questions, says, yeah, but what about that other guy? He wasn't like anything important. But I don't know. It is interesting though. It's an interesting theory that there is some sort of tactic decision as opposed as to who he's going after.
It is. I think it'd be interesting to keep note of that.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see who turns up dead next time.
Yeah, I thought they did a very interesting job of really hiding it as well, though, during the attack. Like, you only get a glimpse of it once or twice, like a tiny little glimpse.
Yeah, it's when he's looking through the telescope, you see, like, just in the distance, the moving...
Like, the back of it, almost.
And it does actually just generally look like the back of a polar bear, just sort of moving behind the ice.
It does, which is why I buy that they just think it's a bear still.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think maybe there'll be some speculation from Goodsir, perhaps, because he saw the captain just get picked up like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the way the tent went all the way up in the air, that implies something who can
lift like that,
lift or jump or
No, I'm with you.
So I buy there's some speculation at this point, but
yeah, but they'll put it down to fear mongering, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I feel like it's not happened yet, but I feel like it won't be long before we start getting conversations about, we need to start rationing. Supplies are going to start to get slim as things get colder. Like, I feel like that's going to be
I don't think we will just yet, because based on, in that flashback, we said that, no, they've got enough rations for a full 3 years, and then 5 with rationing. So I mean, they've not even been here, what, a year yet?
Well, how long were they sailing before they got stuck?
I can't imagine it was too long, a few months at most.
Yeah. I suppose people die does help the rations a
That,
bit.
that leaves, I mean, there's only a handful of people dead at this point, really, but
Yeah, but I mean, if people keep dying, which I assume they are.
yeah, that'll help. I don't think rationing's going to be as big a problem yet, based on how much they said they had.
Okay. I'm thinking maybe later, like, if we have more time jumps, like if they're out here for like a year or
Yeah,
something
no,
like that.
that's true.
I think that's maybe where we'll start to see that if that's what happens. But it could be that now we're just going to be stuck in real time, give or take.
It could
From
be,
here.
yeah.
Now that the monster's showing up and now that we're having deaths, like maybe now we're just kind of stuck here.
Yeah, we've got no reason to cut ahead now.
Because actually, that scene at the start of the first episode where there's people coming after them, like I wonder if that's like the result of the search party going to find
Could be.
the outpost.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As for style and stuff, it still looked great. I thought.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty much. Like we say, the general sort of effect of the. Like, because I imagine there's like, a set surrounded by green screen for this. This is how they shot this, and
I would assume so.
I think they've done a pretty good job of making it really feel like they're out somewhere in the cold and like.
Yeah, I think in terms of the green screen background, I think it helps that it's just flat white.
Oh sure, yeah.
You know, like it's simple that, and by its nature, your eyes kind of blur over it almost.
That's it. I think I do really feel like this is a sort of show that could look really shitty really easily.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think they've done a pretty good job of making it feel like. I mean, I suppose it's debatable how accurate it is because I've never seen this part of the world, but like at the very least, it feels realistic enough that it's.
Yeah,
that it's not sticking out to me as, oh, that looks kind of dodgy or that looks kind of weird. So I'll give him credit. So if it does feel like there's money involved.
It does, definitely.
With production. So, but no. So that's episode 3 of the Terror. Still into it. I'm happy to say. It's not, like you say, maybe it was a little bit dry for the start of the episode.
Yeah, but once it gets into once we get to the captains confronting each other and and obviously the bear thing attacking, like all that stuff is fantastic stuff. But
Yeah,
the opening's a little bit like, okay, just ease me back in.
Yeah, once it got to the confrontation, because there's a shot of Francis walking towards the ship before he has that meeting with them. Once it hits that, it's like, okay, right, we're at the meat of the episode now. This is what it is.
I think that's about 15-20 minutes in, give or take. So, there is a bit at the start where it's just like, okay, this is just there.
Yeah, we find out the monkey. His wife gave him a monkey. And he's like, but it's female. Like,
sure, okay.
Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I get that it's supposed to be men only on the mission, but I mean, I don't know if it matters if the monkey's as a bit in the superstitious
I mean,
side.
I know it's bad luck, is what they say, right?
Yeah.
But it's a monkey.
Yeah. So, that is the Terror episode 3. So let us know what you thought of this one. The comments below, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show on the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzzdv. You can do that over there. There's a link in the description. But otherwise, that is it. So thank you once again. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?